You can. If you can't, I understand.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to start the show.
You're watching PTZOptics Live, a 1080p broadcast available exclusively on YouTube Live every Friday, streaming at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Broadcast quality made affordable. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to PTZOptics Live. I am very excited to have Michael Dawson from Castio with me today. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing pretty good, Paul. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I want to do a quick update on a few things that we have going on here at PTZOptics. Above me, you see our integration with YouTube and Facebook. We're working on an API that's going to be free for all of our customers. You may also see at some point during our show, below we've got a little API pulling in the YouTube comments as well. So we're trying to get as high tech as possible over here. And as you may know, we broadcast every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we donate to charity. We donate every single Friday. So if you hit the like button, you're actually adding an additional $1 to the Susquehanna Valley Casa, helping children in need, children who are stuck in the court system, who don't have anyone to represent them legally. So we donate to that cause. A quick look at June. Today is June 2nd. We are interviewing Michael from Castio to supercharge your live stream, which I'm really excited to talk about. Next week, we'll be coming to you live from StreamCon. What is StreamCon? Well, it's one of the industry's first streaming-only live streams, actually sponsored by vMix, PTZOptics, and Xkeys. So we're really excited about that. And then the following week, we're going to be live streaming from Infocom. So Infocom is a huge show in Orlando, Florida. Great chance to check out all of the latest audio-visual Pro AV technology. So don't forget to stop by there. The next week, we have a packed June. I'm really excited about this. The following week, we're going to be going over the history of live streaming. And some of you may have remembered our all black and white live stream where we did the history of live streaming. We had Tom Sinclair, Bruce Richardson, Joe Husson. We had Andrew Haley from Wirecast. We're going to try to get together a group of industry leaders to take a look at the last year because so much has changed. It's incredible. Instagram, Facebook streaming. Last year when we did our history of live streaming, it was before Facebook streaming was even available, if you can believe that. So a lot has changed. So we're going to go over the past year of streaming, and then we're going to go over the 2017 Streaming Awards. So if you go to streamingawards.com, we're trying to recognize some of the people who are doing the best jobs that they can in the industry, and it's going to be a vote. So you can win a free PTZOptics camera, an Osprey capture card, a Wirecast Pro license, Mimo Live Professional, an Xkeys 24, and or a NewTek Connect Pro app, or any NewTek NDI plugin of your choice. These are just some of the awards that we're going to be giving away. It's voters' choice, so all you have to do is vote on streamingawards.com, and we're accepting nominations now. So until next Friday, we're still accepting nominations. So anyone with a live show can be nominated. And we're really excited about that. We're going to be streaming 24/7 for 2 weeks, showing a live dashboard of all the votes so you can kind of keep up with how that is all working, kind of like an election poll, if you will. And of course, let's not forget about that was not supposed to be there. Infocom, and then our new PTZOptics producer kits have the NewTek NDI. You'll see below that we do have a Facebook group, or it's called Groups, facebook.com/groups/PTZOptics Pals. You can go there to get all of the information about everything we do, really. And Tess is there kind of as a moderator, and I'm there a lot, and we share a lot of the things going on in the industry. So now let's take a chance to get to know Michael. I've had a chance to talk to him. He has, I think, 15 years in the film industry.
Yep.
And he's come from film. He's had his own live streaming event studio. He's listened to his customers. And he's created a special platform specifically for streaming. But before we get into all the details, Michael, let's jump into the lightning round. You ready?
All right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Michael, coffee or tea?
It's coffee all the way.
Coffee all the way. I get it. I'm right there with you. Oh my gosh. Look at me. I'm like off the camera. I set this up a little last minute. So what is your favorite candy?
Candy?
Yes.
I would just go with a mint chocolate.
Mint chocolate. That's a good one. I like that a lot. Okay, so that's your favorite candy. What about your favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, cool. What is your favorite book?
Favorite book? I don't know if it's a favorite, but there's a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. It's a good one.
Cool. I'll take a look at that one. If you could go back in time to see 24 hours of history, when, and where would you go?
I think I would like to check out the moon landing.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah.
That is a really cool one. I haven't heard that one, I don't think, yet. So that's kind of cool. All right. Well, let's get into our today's show, basically, which we have. And let's give us a little 60-second introduction to Eventstream, because I think that's was kind of new to me. That's your main company that you're the president of.
Yeah. So we're a production company in Canada, in Toronto, close to Bruce, actually, from VideoLink. And we do a ton of events here, everything from like school convocations and sports and music to corporate events.
Those topics today. So tell us a little bit about your history before we get into it. I know you mentioned you're close to Bruce. Did you get your first TriCaster from Bruce?
I did. Back in 2011, I decided to leave the film business and to get into live streaming. And Bruce was the guy to go to get equipment here in Canada. So knocked on his door. And I think it's funny. I think the 450 had just come out. So that was their first kind of HD product. They had the 300 before, and the TDX 450 just came out. And so we got that like hot off the press.
That's awesome. And it's nice to know someone who really has kind of gone from a TriCaster to, having your own company. Tell us a little bit about, what do you use today? Do you use a TriCaster to produce your events today?
We don't actually. I think that was the last TriCaster we owned. We're all completely live stream studio and vMix now.
Oh, cool.
So we're all software switchers. Probably going to get a couple of those new ATEMs when they finally ship from Blackmagic. Mm-hmm. But no, we've. I think it's amazing what the software switches have done. I always wanted the functionality of TriCaster, but not to be locked into the hardware ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And so now we have that flexibility. So we build our own PCs, much like Tom Sinclair, and we just love it. And the new i9s from Intel are super exciting. Yes. So we'll have to see what we can do with those things. Loving the software switchers.
So you get to basically buy the best of the best because it's part of your business. Like, you need to have an i9 when it comes out. You need to have the new stuff. So you're kind of in an interesting place. I'm kind of in that kind of lucky space as well, where we get to test everything out. Tell me about working in the film industry, and then we'll talk about switching to the live streaming industry, because I know a lot of people that I met at NAB, are kind of like, it used to be the National Association of Broadcasters, and that was like for, television, but the whole thing switching to streaming, and now you kind of started in the film industry, and they're all kind of brother-sister type markets. Can you tell me a little bit about your history there?
Yeah, so I was a film guy from back in the day, and I went to film school, and I thought that was my path, and I joined the Directors Guild and started doing that and started making short films and then feature films, and started producing web series and thought that was really interesting too. But I got to tell you, it's actually kind of a funny story how I stumbled into live streaming. So we were producing web shows on YouTube for a long time, and YouTube reached out to us and said, hey, we're opening up this new thing called live streaming. This is back in 2011, and we don't have any beta partners in Canada yet. Do you guys want to do this? Would you actually do something live? And they didn't have it. There was no easy way to get into live at that time. Like, you had to have an RTMP entry point. You had to have a proper encoder. OBS didn't exist. So we thought, yeah, okay, well, we'll give it a shot. And at the time, I was producing a show called The Men's Room, which is kind of like a men's relationship type show. Mm. And so we decided, we figured it out. We got everything we needed to get. I think we rented a TriCaster from Bruce at the time, and we produced a couple episodes of the live show, and I was just hooked. I was like, this is what I need to be doing with my life. I don't want to work in film anymore. So literally that year, I ended my relationship with the film industry, started Eventstream, and since then we've been going strong now 6 years.
So one thing that I've heard over and over talking to so many people at NAB and their customers is that it's almost like you can get bitten by the live streaming bug, if you will. And it just makes so much sense once you've kind of seen it happen. So that kind of light bulb went off for you where you were, spending all that time in post, and then you realized, geez, if I put enough work in up front, I can do this live, and it's that much more exciting and authentic.
I got to tell you, like as an alpha type personality, I love events. The problem with film for me was that there was so much hurry up and wait. And if you didn't get something right, you could just do it over and over and over again, and you just blow the whole day, just essentially just doing more takes. And the thing I love about live is that you have to do everything in your power to make sure that when you go live, you're ready. And there's no second chances. There's no second guessing. You just have to make it right. And there's something about that I just thrive off of. And then when you do that, and then you can see the real-time comments coming in at the same time and feedback from the fans, as opposed to having to wait for your film to be released in theaters. I don't know, there's something incredibly rewarding about it. So if you want to talk about the live stream bug, like it hit me hard.
It's so funny. Yeah, because I had an older gentleman who had been in the broadcast industry for years say he got bit by this live streaming bug. And then I realized that that's a great way to put it. And it really does kind of to show off, kind of explain this phenomenon that so many people are working in. And so then that brings me to something I saw on your website, and I think it's just kind of generalization here. There's the webcast and then there's the live stream. Can you kind of explain the difference between the two?
I think as far as the terminology goes, in the way it's defined, it's the same thing. But we actually like to differentiate it by saying live streaming is public live streaming. So if you're going to YouTube or Facebook, you want as many viewers as possible, you're going to be doing public live streaming. If you are maybe a corporation and you're doing a town hall or some kind of AGM, then you're doing something what we would refer to as private webcasting, where you're actually controlling the registration. Maybe it's a marketing webinar or marketing webcast. You're controlling the registration, and that's how we like to differentiate it too.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I figured. It seems like webcasting is a little bit more corporate, trying to be controlled, whereas live streaming, it's kind of become, where is the audience? I will go there. And I don't know if we have time to touch on this before we jump into Castio, but how do you feel about multicasting? And I've been talking to a lot of people in like the Facebook groups. I love Facebook groups. We showed our Facebook group below. There's a lot of great people out there you can talk to, but it seems like people are going to Facebook just for the view numbers. And I'm not sure. It kind of makes me feel like, it's about depth, not width. Like, shouldn't you be looking for the people that are interested in your content, not just like viewers, like numbers on a view counter? But anyway, how do you feel about like streaming everywhere just because you can?
I think I'm in agreement with you that you should pick a network and stick to it. And different networks have different audiences, and it really is about building a fan base if you're doing a show. I mean, we work with a lot of companies that are in product launches, and for them, it's really about views, and they can boost posts and whatnot on Facebook, and they really like that because there's some marketing tools attached to it that are really important for them. So in that case, Facebook really wins for them. But I mean, to be able to have a subscriber base on YouTube, and much like you do, I think that there's a lot of value there as well. So I'm kind of the camp where you should pick one network and stick to it for any specific stream.
Yeah, I believe that context is incredibly important, so that when you're listening to a podcast on SoundCloud and they say, "Hello, SoundCloud user," it's like for that audience. Same with YouTube. You can see below me, it says, let's see right here, it says, live on YouTube. That's where we are today. And I think that really helped us in the beginning so the audience knows like where we are, like we're listening to you guys in this chat room for this audience. So I think context is going to play a big role. And I think if you're going to do Facebook Live, you do Facebook Live. But we'll see. And there's some more. There's much more to that we can dig into if we have time. But tell us about Castio. I'm really interested in this platform, and I'm going to show your website in a moment here, because you basically built it off of your customers' needs, right?
We did. I mean, we were doing a lot of live streaming, and then we had customers come to us and say, well, this is great, but we want to password protect our stream, but we want unique passwords for individual users, or we want to white label email addresses, or we want this sort of protection. We want to do pay-per-view. And so we were sort of looking at like essentially webcasting software, but it was incredibly expensive and the quality wasn't quite there. And we said, well, we really love live streaming. We really love, using products like Dacast and Livestream and Wowza Cloud. We really love using those, and we love the robustness of them. But they don't have any of the sort of registration pages or landing pages or the ability to add in like live Q&A and stuff. So we said, okay, well, what if we could take these great players that already exist out there and then add in all the features that you're seeing here? So live notifications, where you could do real-time chat. You can have, manage all of your viewers and have them all, register first, so you can track exactly who's online and how long they've been watching for. So basically, we put a guard in front of the player to allow you to do pay-per-view and secure your streams. And then you can essentially run a webcast by using your live streaming platform.
Very interesting. And you can tell that this is something that was built specifically for a need in the market. And I really applaud you for that, because I think it looks awesome. So let's talk about the innovation in the space. So like, what did it take to build this, and what are the features that you're most proud of creating?
It took a long time. I mean, I think as software does, I've been working on this since we started the company. It's gone through a number of iterations. I think we're finally at a place where we're really pleased with it. I mean, it's something that we use every single day. Like right after we're off this call, I'm going to be going and using it for an event tonight. So we really built it based off of what we needed and what we think users needed. And we work primarily with AV companies and streaming companies, and they're always giving us positive feedback on how to improve it. But we love the idea that you can basically run your entire event from one screen. So all of your Q&A, your chat, the polls, everything happens just in one screen. It's really easy to launch and really easy to manage. You can, of course, send email reminders as well to all the people who are attending, the people who didn't attend. And I think some really cool features that we love is when a question comes in, you can actually approve that question, and you can send it to the comfort monitor of the presenter. So if the presenter's in front of the room and they've got their PowerPoint presentation up there, you can actually send the approved questions to them. So they don't even need to skip a beat. They can just advance their slides clicker and see the question come right in, and then they can just answer the question, which is a lot easier than passing a mic around the room, which is a lot of times what happens. And some people are really long-winded on the mic. So this sort of keeps it really tight, allows them to ask more questions. And just from the tech side, it's super simple. We even have a PowerPoint plugin. So basically, it automatically pulls, kind of like an API, it automatically pulls all the data into PowerPoint. So you just add it into the last slide of the presenter's presentation, and then boom, they can just click right through it. So we would try to think of some things like that we use in the field every day, and that really kind of helps us streamline and I don't know, our clients kind of love it. So that's the kind of stuff that we focus on.
That is awesome. And our last thing was like, what are the customers saying? And I think you kind of touched on that, but I mean, it's all customer driven, I would have to imagine. It seems like you've built this like custom, and it's for people out there who are looking at this, it's not a content delivery network, right? So you use a different content delivery network of your choice, right? Any content delivery network that you want?
Any player works. We suggest not using YouTube and Facebook because they do have their links within the player that people can click through to get to the page. But any other system that doesn't have links like that will work. We do have a built-in content delivery network, and we offer it as an add-on. It's not part of the base package, so we can keep the pricing low. But we do have an integrated network that is a fully distributed content delivery network, and as well has cloud transcoding and automatic recording. And so it's completely integrated, but it's an option. You don't have to use it if you already have a CDN that you love. And
you could use YouTube if you absolutely wanted it to be super cheap.
For sure, yeah, you could use YouTube. There's no question about it. The challenge with YouTube though is that you have that YouTube icon that anybody can click on, and then it opens up your YouTube page, and they can share that link.
Excuse me. So yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. So it's $29 a month, 100 attendees. So it's basically, any player you want inside of this beautiful interface that kind of just makes it feel like, like an Apple or a Google level interaction. And so what we're looking at here is what the user would see, and then down here is what we're looking at is what like the event manager would see, right?
Exactly, and you can have multiple roles as well. So you can say, hey, this person's a producer. They should be able to open and close events. They should be able to start and stop recordings. And then you have a moderator. So that person can't see everything, but they can see the comments that come in. They can see the Q&A. They can answer that. So you're able to split that depending on who should have access. So for us, we send our internal team. We give them producer access, but then our clients we give moderator access to.
Cool.
And then everything is brandable, everything is skinnable. You can change stuff in seconds in terms of, the design. You've got your landing page and your viewing page. One of the really cool things that we love about it is that on the viewing pages is where people go to actually watch the webcast. You can hide and show the player without having to refresh the page. So you can have a pre-show image that shows there, and then when you're ready to open, but you could be testing the event in the back end, and then when you're ready to sort of open your room and let everyone see the stream, then you can just open it up and it'll automatically refresh for everybody. It'll send an email to everybody that's on the attendee list saying, hey, we're starting right now. And so that's a really good way to sort of bring people to the event right away. Because people join at the last second, that's just generally how they do it.
Well, I've learned that. Well, okay, awesome. I'm going to roll the credits. It's been 20 minutes, and then we got a ton of stuff in the post show. We forgot to show your stream reel, so we'll get to that. Here's the new credits.
And that's all, folks. We appreciate your participation in the chat room and can't wait to host our next informative Q&A session. Your questions drive the conversation forward for live streaming professionals around the world. Until next time, happy streaming!